Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors and everyone in between, good evening.
It's Thursday again, and as every week, it should be about something on this, the second most tedious day in the week.
This is Michael Smulik.
And this is Jim Libby.
And this should be about something.
And if with any luck, it will be.
We hope. Hello and welcome, and Michael, we're back. Just a quick let you know, every week we try to get it done, and man, this time
It's like every week we do the same thing. We start the show and then we tell everybody about our troubles in getting the show up.
Someday we'll get out of this phase. We'll get out of this
Yes,
phase.
we will get out of this phase when Pavlov's dog finally becomes our producer and somebody else does all this shizzle.
Yeah. We're a little stymied with the chat. We're hoping that everyone can hear and see us, and we saw oh, look at that. We've got some folks coming in. We're going to have to be going over here because of the distinct lack of internets.
So we've got Christina here, we've got Follower of Clay, we've got Andrew, we've got Pavlov's dog, and we've got Muchado. And Moko.
Very cool. Hello, everybody.
So I think we should do shout-outs first.
We got some shout-outs.
Yeah, totally.
All right, you start.
Well, I want to do a big shout-out to Mr. Perkins, a.k.a. Andrew, for dropping a tip in our PayPal tip saucer. Much appreciated.
Thank you so
Thank you so much. If we hadn't been busy doing other things, we might have noticed that there's no vodka in the fridge. We'd actually be drinking vodka today instead of this stuff that we're left with now.
The stuff that we drink around the vodka?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's not a bad thing to do a completely sober show. Baz?
I don't think it's going to be a completely sober show.
The sober edition.
The sober edition.
But in any case, everyone raise your glass, whatever it is that you have.
Pause for 3 seconds.
Pause for 3 seconds. Say hi to Verena. Slurp, slurp.
Slurp, slurp. Everybody slurp at the same time. Ah.
You know, I had a conversation with a friend not too long ago, again, about this idea of this. You go like this. Have we had this conversation?
The part of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No.
Where does the come from? Like, it's a learned thing.
Is it really?
Well, think about like when kids do that, and they will overplay the.
Yes, but because they're copying adults doing it.
Exactly.
Right, but I don't think that's where adults get it.
But the adults were kids at some point who
This
also
is true.
copied this.
This is
so
true.
It's a bit of a chicken and the egg thing, and this is why I bring it up. Because I'm wondering, was that originally a physical reaction, or is it perhaps a way to communicate to a child, you know, I wonder where that one came from. Maybe there's like some
I think it's the
sociological paleontologists that might be able to answer that question.
I think paleontologist is probably the person who will answer it, but or anthropologists.
Mm-hmm.
It's that that's how we express well-being. It's how we express pleasure.
Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Satiation.
So it doesn't matter whether it's this or anything else.
Sure,
you know,
but
you can go.
I was reminded of it because kids do that, and we just both did it.
Yeah, kids do it in that terrible way where they're going, mmm.
Yeah.
You want to go, pew. Oh, Uncle Mike wants to do that. Uncle Jim doesn't smack kids around, but Uncle Mike does. So keep your kids away from him.
Oh, keep your kids away from Uncle Jim too, but
for different reasons.
But
we will not go into this.
We also have another shout out for Pavlov's dog.
Yes.
We want to thank Pavlov's dog because we mentioned it last week, but we've got this whole discussion thing.
Pavlov mentioned it, and we didn't know what the fuck it was about.
Well, we still don't know much. Everything we know about our YouTube channel we have learned from Pavlov's dog. And that's still not a lot, but a lot more than we had before. And so thank you for that. And So we're going to try to work on some discussion things. There is a discussion place, and so Pavlov was suggesting that we throw in their ideas if anybody has an idea for a topic that they'd like to see done, or a special segment, or ways that we can make our shizzle better, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead and throw it in the discussion. We'll see how that goes.
So I'm hearing there's a little bit of a... that's it. So that should have fixed out whatever audio problems there were earlier.
Yep. We're getting better every time.
So while I was sorting out that audio thing, you thanked Pavlov for...
Pavlov's dog, thank you so very much.
Teaching us about the discussion. So now we can actually teach everybody else.
Yeah.
If you go to our YouTube page, there are several headers in there. One of them is playlists, one of them is video, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And one of them is discussions. And you can go there and you can post stuff on our page and we can read it. So please do that.
Or not. It's just a page on the internet. It has no control over you.
Yeah.
Much like that stop sign you blew through 3 streets ago.
Yeah.
I was in a hurry.
You were in a hurry.
He's pregnant.
Were you taking your laptop somewhere?
I got my new laptop.
Oh, and he got a new laptop. That's not what I was alluding to.
Oh, what were you alluding to?
Did you not read the news this week?
Tell me. Is this about the dude who never had a laptop? He never remembered having a laptop?
And now his wife is walking around with it?
And now his wife is walking around. The wife of the finance minister of Austria is walking around the city.
He called his wife to tell her that the cops are coming to search his apartment, right?
What did he do to have the cops come?
His argument for calling his wife was saying they've got a small baby at home, right? So his wife left the apartment with the small baby and a laptop.
Yeah.
She was walking around town with a laptop.
And the laptop is ostensibly where all of Austria's finances are on. Yeah. And which is the laptop that he had pretended that he never had ever...
For instance.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit going on in Austria, man.
We are world champions in corruption. We're not world champions in fighting corruption. We are world champions in corruption.
That's true. 15 years ago, I remember talking to this university professor who had done had been part of some survey or whatever they call that, looking at corruption in the EU, and number 1 on the list was Austria's Film Commission. Had the most corruption in all of the EU.
That's so funny.
It's an illustrious list to be on top of. Congratulations, Austria.
If you want to learn how to be a corrupt politician, filmmaker, or anything, come to Austria.
Come to Austria.
It's the place to learn.
Yeah. So we've had a good week. We've had a crazy week.
Well, you got your laptop, which is like, whoa.
I was very excited.
You've been waiting for that for months.
This is true. This is true.
So maybe that'll streamline our little outfit.
Yeah. We're going to work on that. In the last week, that was about it. Oh, we've got something that we want to talk about at some point. Coming up soon, Michael and I, with the English Lovers, will be doing a new show called Pitch Me, I'm Streaming. And like our Christmas show, we are going to be streaming it live from the Theater Drachengasse. We'll be doing that from the 15th of March onwards. But that also means we're going to do an Isbaz also live from the Theater Drachengasse.
Yeah, that's going to be so cool.
So we'll be excited about that, and we'll try to keep you posted on what's going on there. I think tickets for it are already online, so if you're into that sort of thing...
they most definitely are online.
Yeah.
English Lovers at eventbrite.com.
Yeah. And that's going to be super excited. We're excited for that.
I'm also super excited because I'm playing a concert this Saturday.
Of course you are.
In 2 days. And if we hadn't been in such a mad rush to sort out this goddamn internet problem we had earlier, I would have posted that. Maybe I can get around to actually posting a link to my concert in the chat.
Yeah, you're doing that with Lisa
Schmidt. Lisa Schmidt, who's a colleague, lovely lady I worked with and co-wrote her cabaret program, Ehrengrab. Unfortunately, she hasn't got around to playing it much because the goddamn pandemic got in the way.
Yeah.
So she started writing songs in the meantime. So she's got like half a program, and I've got kind of like half a program. So we decided,
Put
make
those
the
two
best of
hands
it
together.
and put the, So I'm gonna play first, and she's gonna play second.
Two great tastes that taste great together.
Name one. Name two.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Dark chocolate and salt.
Peanut butter and chocolate.
Not such a fan of peanut butter and chocolate.
Caramel and salt.
That's good. And I found a recipe yesterday for making salt caramel popcorn at home.
The phrase, two great tastes that taste great together, was the Verbi slogan for Reese's peanut butter cups for years and years and years.
What's the two great things about it?
Peanut butter and chocolate.
There's chocolate in there?
In Reese's peanut butter cups?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a chocolate
Really?
outside and a peanut butter filling.
I've eaten them. I've
They're
never
super
noticed
yummy.
the chocolate before.
Yeah, and that was the whole point, where you'd have like every commercial was like, two cowboys on a buckboard going somewhere and they hit a big thing and the one guy's chocolate goes into the other guy's peanut butter and he's like, hey, you got chocolate on my peanut butter and hey, you got peanut butter on my chocolate. Two tastes taste great together.
Are they riding to Brokeback Mountain together?
I don't know why things like that.
It's like you said his peanut butter fell in his chocolate and I just, my synapses exploded with images.
Again with the homoerotic imagery right at the top of the show.
Yeah, let's go and get our hair cut.
Eat peanut butter and chocolate while you do it.
So where's that clock we were going to have?
Oh, that's with the internets that I can try to do the clock
really
again.
going well. No, I think we're doing a great job of this.
Yeah.
I think we could move on to chapter one. Should we move
I
to
think
chapter one?
we should move
Yeah.
right into chapter one.
So I'm just going to cue it.
Okay,
Good.
And I'm going to try to get the clock. It's too late for the clock. Why does he do this to me?
Because he loves you.
On Naked Neighbors.
I think there's a lot to be said and there's a lot of ground to be covered on Naked Neighbors.
I think so too. Should
So
we try to?
I think we should preface
This isn't
it
working.
with
This is it. This is all we got.
yeah. I think we should preface it with that great saying about naked neighbors.
Okay.
Everybody has naked neighbors. If you can't find yours, you are the naked neighbor.
That's right. If you don't know who your naked neighbor is, then you are the naked neighbor. So I'm a big fan of Naked Neighbors. Are you a fan of Naked Neighbors?
Yes, usually I am. Yes, I've actually not seen any yucky naked neighbors. Like the naked neighbors that I've had have all been pretty nice to look at.
Yeah. So here's the question for the chat. Do you have a naked neighbor currently? When's the last time you saw your naked neighbor?
Are you currently someone else's naked neighbor? Do you know that you're someone else's naked neighbor?
Have you just found out you are your own naked neighbor? Type that up in the chat and we'll figure it out. So, I want to talk about one of my favorite naked neighbor experiences.
Please.
Okay.
Please, I'm all ears.
It happened just recently, but it was just so picture book perfect. I was on the balcony. It was just gotten nighttime. I just walked up. I'd been doing something. I put something away. I turn around, and just at that moment, across the way in the little darkness of the world, that little square of light in the middle of it, silhouetted and yet lit from the front, the naked neighbor, she took off her shirt like so cinematically, and just kind of was relaxed, and then as I did that, and then turned around and walked out as I turned, and it would just all happen in one fluid, kinetic dance. It was one of those perfect naked neighbor moments.
Brilliant.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Brilliant.
Have you had a naked neighbor?
Well, I have a similar naked neighbor where I live now to that, but I haven't seen her in quite a while. She has an apartment that I think she shares with her boyfriend, but it's about 100 meters away from me. So I don't I can't really see into their apartment a lot.
Right.
But it's 3 rooms. It's a living room, a kitchen, and a bedroom. And sometimes they forget to close the curtains or turn off the light in certain rooms, or they forget that when they leave the bedroom, the light's still on in the kitchen or the living room and the curtains are open.
Right.
So you kind of see
get glimpses of the
lights
neighbor,
going
yeah.
on, there's people walking around, right?
Yeah.
And she's kind of nice to look at as well.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen her in a long time.
So I think my first encounter with a naked neighbor, I was living in Portland, Maine, and I had a couple of roommates. And I came home late one evening, and the lights were out in the kitchen, where normally the lights would be on and people hanging out at the table. The lights were off, but I could tell that somebody was standing at the kitchen sink in the dark, and that was weird. And I came in and I see this, and they're like, "Don't turn on the light." And I'm like, "Okay." They're like, "Come here." And in front of the kitchen sink, we had a window, and that window looked down into the courtyard of this old building. And we had some new neighbors move in to the apartment that was just straight down there. And we'd met them briefly. It was a couple. Nobody could remember his name, but her name was Patty.
She was cute, right?
And we called them Tuck and Patty, because at the time there was a famous musician duo, Tuck and Patty. And so we called them Tuck and Patty. And my roommate was like, "Dude, come here." I looked down, and Patty is on the couch having a Patty party. She was paddling the Patty canoe.
Ooh.
She was polishing the Patty Bishop. I don't know. She was talking to Patty, the little man in Patty's boat. I don't know. She was doing the thing. And that was crazy.
Where was Tucker?
Well, Tuck wasn't around. It was just that. And so, and I realized that my roommate had kind of been watching this for a little while. Creepy, not creepy, you can judge yourself. Anyway, a few weeks go by, and I come into the kitchen, it's late at night, and I'm in the apartment. I come into the kitchen, and I go to the kitchen sink to get a glass of water, and I look down, and Tuck is having a Tuck party.
A tug party.
A Tuck party. And after that, every time anybody would come into the kitchen with the lights off,
you just check on them.
Everybody would just kind of look down to see what would happen. So there was a lot going on there.
I think this is how you could check this out, right? So as soon as you see one of them leave the building, you need to go to the window and see what the other one's doing, because they're like, "Okay, I got some me time."
Yeah, got some me time. Now, what about...
Marcus is saying something here.
Yeah.
He's like,
I can't read any of this, unfortunately.
I'm going to have to translate it for both of us. He can't see his naked neighbors, but he can hear them.
That's crazy, because that's exactly what I wanted to ask you about. That's exactly what I wanted to ask.
Does that count as a naked neighbor?
Absolutely. 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 If you don't see them, but you can tell that they're naked, so
Okay. All right.
They're still naked neighbors, right?
Yeah.
So like, I had a friend, my friend Shauna, back in the day when I was living in Maine, and the people who lived next door to Shauna, any time of day when I would go to visit, and it didn't matter morning, afternoon, or night, they would be having sex.
But they'd see, it's that hot guy, quick, and they'd watch you, and then they'd get it on.
I would love that to have been true. I like that idea that
He's here again, quick!
I like that idea that everybody in the world has had somebody masturbate to them. Just to know that, yeah, you still got it.
Do you think that's true?
Yes, I want to believe it to be true.
Okay, just give me a ballpark figure. Like, how many of the women you know who have not been sexual partners have you masturbated to? Just give me a ballpark figure.
Most
in your
all
life.
of them.
Like, most all of them.
I don't know. What do you mean? Like how many women have I masturbated to that I haven't actually been sexual with?
Like saying like 90% or like that kind of, not actually an actual figure, like a percentage.
I don't know. You answer it for me so I understand what you mean by the question.
Well, I'm not actually sure. I haven't given it any thought. I think there definitely are women that I've masturbated to, but it's not like a lot of them.
Okay. In any case, what I'm talking about is Shauna's neighbors, and it didn't matter, morning, noon, or night, they would be having sex. And I never heard him, but she always said the same thing, and it was like this very loud, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Did she have a climax?
Somewhere.
Maybe she was kind of coaxing him to finally get there. That's why they were always having sex, because she was always trying to come.
No, but Shauna was like, I only ever hear them when you're over, and that was just.
She had the hots for you, and that's why she couldn't concentrate on.
No. I just think that was a coincidence, or maybe it was just that I noticed it, but it was always the same.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. So those are naked neighbors that you hear. Speaking of which, you're loud when you have sex, as everybody knows. Have you ever gotten a note from a neighbor to be quieter?
No.
Have you ever gotten a note from a neighbor to close your blinds?
I think I've got hints from the neighbors that I should close the windows.
Mm-hmm. See,
and I've also got hints from the neighbors that they feel uncomfortable being on their terrace when I'm home.
At all.
Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing.
They just don't like to be near you.
The sounds I make, the things I do.
So I think I hear, I don't know. I'm torn about that, because I think the thing about being a naked neighbor, in my case, as long as I don't know anybody can see me, I'm fine with it. But as soon as you get called out on it, it hampers that thing. I feel it makes me be all like, oh, geez,
yeah.
And so why would you want to ruin anybody's chance for a little bit of happiness?
But because that's
by
what
telling them
about.
that they're too loud about sex. Of course, people ruin everything. We know this.
Yeah, that's just one of the things that they ruin.
But I think it's such a terrible thing to be like, oh, you got to be quieter. Ugh, I think that's awful.
It is awful, but
it's awful.
But I think the only people who do that are people who are frustrated because their own sex life is crap.
I suppose. We have another naked neighbor, a dude, and he will just walks by his window naked all the time. And I would never think to be like, hey dude, cover that shit up. It's just like, because if you notice it, you just happen to notice, why ruin somebody's fun? Don't yuck my yum. And
that's a good one.
Try not to yuck other people's yums.
Yeah. But I wouldn't stretch it to don't put your peanut butter in my chocolate.
Which is your favorite new euphemism?
It's my favorite new euphemism. I had a lovely naked neighbor episode at the end of summer once. Admittedly, they were never naked, but
they were your neighbor.
But they were my neighbor.
Okay.
I was working in Italy, and it was late summer, and I had an apartment overlooking a terrace apartment, and every day, same time, the sun would be at a certain angle, and the terrace would be flooded in sun, and he would come out, and he was muscles all over, and he was bronzed.
Oiled?
Oh yeah. He was totally oiled and bronzed and
sculpted?
And absolutely sculpted. Yeah.
Like
bald,
cut,
muscular, butch, macho.
Bald.
The whole
so he looked like a big, veiny, throbbing cock.
He looked like
in a pair of Speedos. Just muscly.
He looked like one of the Legionnaires, one of those pumped up Legionnaires in the Asterix comics. That's what he looked like.
Nice.
And he'd come out at the same time of day every day, and he'd wipe down the terrace.
Right.
Wet wipe the terrace. Then he'd arrange the terrace furniture.
Yeah. Did he fluff the flowers?
He did it in the Speedo.
Yeah. Did he have a duster?
I don't remember that.
Did he fluff the flowers?
Clean the whole thing and make it perfect and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And when he was done, she would come out
Love
in a
it.
bikini and high heels.
Wait. Was she a bodybuilder?
No,
No.
no, absolutely not.
No. What was she like?
She was very pretty, very petite. I think he was 3 heads taller than she was. Like she was this tiny little apple tree, kind of like big apples on a tiny little apple tree kind of thing, right? And then she'd come out like this.
Yes.
And she'd select one of the terrace furniture that he'd put in, and maybe he'd move it a little bit for her.
Yeah.
And then she'd go and lie down on this.
Yeah.
And then he'd bring her a drink. And then while she sunned, he'd go around, he'd do other stuff on the terrace, and he'd kind of be around.
Now, can you imagine yucking that type of bliss?
No way.
Exactly.
I watched it every day from my terrace, from my balcony, which was above this. I could just watch it. I could just sit on my balcony and watch it. Because it was also such a relaxing ritual, because it would happen every day.
Yeah. So good. So what's the chat say? Does anybody have a naked neighbor?
We have, view through trees. My God, you haven't been here for weeks. At least you haven't been on the chat for weeks. Welcome back, view through trees. I promised you a song once, and you didn't come back for it. So you're going to have to go and watch my online concert on Saturday to get a song.
There you go.
Pavlov says, I suspect my neighbor can hear my toys, considering the walls are so thin. Good on you, Pavlov. You got industrial strength sex toys.
That's right. Wait a minute. She was talking about her train set.
Because you don't want to go,
she was talking about, oh yeah.
You want your industrial strength sex toys to make you go, oh yeah.
The Black and Decker Pecker Wrecker. Man, this show is on the fire.
This show is on fire. Can't see, but definitely can hear. We've already been there. Thank you, Marcus. So, view through trees.
What does view through
Wave
trees
at the camera. Say hi, Mary. Now we're saying hi, Mary, because View Through Trees wants us to say hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
View Through Trees, we're waving to Mary. Tell Mary to wave at the screen.
So, naked neighbors, man. That's it.
Yeah, I think we can call it a day there, huh?
I think so too.
Sure. Oh, you're looking at the time. Oh, is that what you keep pointing at?
Because we don't have the clock. I know you can't see that.
So it doesn't help me if you point.
We're so screwed up tonight.
It looks like you're pointing at the top of your iPad, which you're doing, but I can't see that it says anything there. No. It's all just fuzzy.
Well, since this sucks, I can make it bigger.
No, we're just like let's move on. We've got a chapter 2 to get to. We've got a show to do. You know, we've got people to meet and talk about.
Things to see, people to do. This doesn't help.
So now I pressed the chapter thing.
Yeah.
And now I remembered my next naked neighbor story, but I'm gonna put that down on the list. I'm gonna do Naked Neighbors Part 2.
Naked Neighbors Part 2.
Yeah,
because it deserves a second.
Because
life.
it deserves to be a couple.
Yeah. We are now in Chapter 2. And
we are.
Chapter 2 is on your worst hotel experience.
Mm-hmm.
Hotel experiences. That's a thing that we haven't had for a while.
Have we ever had it? I don't think we've talked about being in hotels, except about being naked in our own hotel space last week.
Right. No, I mean just, it's been a long time since I've been in a hotel.
Oh, I see. Yes, me too.
Yeah.
I think it's even longer for me because I think you did some traveling at least last year.
Yeah. Man, I remember the first time going to a hotel with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to make an appointment to go to the place, to the reception.
Mm-hmm. You had to call them and say you're coming?
Yeah, or when I made my reservation, I had to make a reservation about being at the reception so that there wasn't people in the reception. So, and then I had to go and do the thing, and then there was no breakfast buffet. There was, everything was wrapped in plastic. And
oh, really?
Yeah. This was like early times. This was,
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Nuts. It was kind of weird because the lockdown kind of happened 2 weeks after I got back from holiday.
Right. Yeah, so you were like right under the wire. So it's been over a year since you've been in a hotel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about bad hotel experiences.
Like, have you got an anecdote?
I don't, but I know you do because you are a connoisseur of hotels.
Well, I think one of my worst, in several ways, hotel experiences, but so bad that it's actually funny as well.
Okay.
It's like I kind of knew that I was getting in for a bad hotel experience from the get-go, so I wasn't annoyed by it going south.
Right. You were prepared for the disappointment.
I was prepared for the disappointment.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for some of the things that happened.
Strap in.
I'm on a road trip with my wife, and it's the first time she's ever been on a road trip. And
wait, is this your first? This is your first road trip with her?
Yeah, but this is several years ago.
Yes, but this is your
my first road trip with my wife.
And her first road trip
ever.
Ever. She'd never been on a road trip with. Whoa.
Okay, so we are traveling down the coast, the east coast of Italy, and it's kind of getting to evening, and I'm like, well, we'll just check on booking.com and we'll find something, right? But she gets a case of the nerves. So we end up getting into a little bit of a tiff with each other and booking just any old hotel we can find that's in our price range.
Because she lost her nerve about finding a good place and she just wanted a place.
She didn't want to sleep in the car.
Right.
Right.
She was worried about sleeping in the car.
Exactly.
The spontaneity factor hadn't, okay.
So we end up in this hotel, and it is like what Pavlov's explaining. The walls are so thin that you can hear everything.
Yeah.
And it is chock and block with holiday-making Italians with kids.
Oh, God.
Like the doors of the hotel room, not the doors inside the room, the doors to the corridor were like this.
Yeah, yeah.
You could hear everything, every fucking thing, right?
Oh, God.
Okay, so we have an okay night because I think we actually had some pretty good food there, right? And we head back to the hotel and all right, fine. Tomorrow we'll do this better. But we get up the next day and we go down for breakfast, right?
Right.
And we're used to the way that the Italians do breakfast.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of nice. You come down, you have coffee. All of these Italians are drinking coffee from the thermos flask, right? And we're like, can we have espresso? Well, yes, okay, fine. So they made us some espresso, right? And then we're like, so where is the breakfast buffet? And he points to a table that is empty except for a couple of slices of salami. Because the myriads of Italians and their kids have grazed that thing down to the tablecloth. And then as I look over at the table, right, a waiter comes in with some plates with like some new fresh slabs of bread and salami on, puts them down, right? He's got his fingers in the salami. Like he's putting some of the salami back on the plates with his fingers. While he's doing this, they're grabbing it out of his hands. It's like locusts. So we didn't eat. We only had coffee. And then there was a pool right outside, and the pool had something in Italian.
Right.
And then something in some other language, and in German it said, please not to wet in the pool after the hotel.
Wait, can you say it in German?
No, I think it was supposed to say, please do not go into the pool and then come into the hotel wet.
Right.
Please do not wet in the pool
Yeah.
after the hotel.
Love it. Love it. I will what? Sure. Of course. Huh?
It was like an invitation to take a pee in the pool.
So, did it get worse after that? Did you spend another night?
No, it got much better after that because,
Okay.
you know, we knew that we just had to wait for it, and we'd find better places. And we stayed in some lovely places.
Sure.
God, we stayed in some fantastic places.
Okay, so you reminded me of two things, and that's a good one. That's a terrible hotel. I remember with an ex-girlfriend going to my first Airbnb. No, it wasn't an Airbnb, pardon me. Just a regular B&B. It was a bed and breakfast. An honest to goodness, old-timey, countrified, bed and breakfast. And I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna go there, it's gonna be really romantic,
Yeah.
It's in Maine, we're in this, nice old Victorian house, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
We get there, the people that run the place were very nice, welcoming. There were some people in the sitting room. Hello, okay,
Yeah.
this is what bed and
And there's
breakfast.
high back chairs with ears.
I mean, really, it was beautiful and classic.
Like a fire
Go
going.
up to the room. The room is very nice. Sit on the bed, and the bed goes. And we packed our stuff up. We waited for the moment where there was no one in the sitting room, and we just left. And we just booked out of there. Went to the nearest hotel that we could find. Called up pizza and had it delivered to the room. And when we woke up in the morning, we opened the curtains. And what we hadn't seen in the dark was that this little motel-y, hotel-y thing was like right on the water, looking over the bay with these huge picturesque, just picture sliding glass door windows onto a balcony that looks out. It was one of the most amazing, beautiful sunrises.
Cool.
And such a surprise because we had gone from this horror situation to this unknown thing.
Yeah. And they had a sturdy bed.
And it had a sturdy bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've resorted to having sex on the floor
Yeah.
in other people's homes or hotels if the beds weren't.
The other thing your story reminded me of was I love badly written signs. I love
I
mistranslated
photographed
signs.
that actually.
I still have a sign. I lived in Boston, and we had the superintendent. The super was this guy named Cosme. He was.
Oh, I've heard about him. He's the guy who would call you Yeem.
Yeem, yeah, he would call me Yeem. And Cosme, he painted the stairwell, the gelände, the banister.
Railing.
Yeah, the banister railing of the house, and he had a sign like written onto a piece of paper, and the sign said, and I quote, "The paint is a want." Sorry, it said, "Be care," not be careful, be care. The paint is a want. Watch where yours touch. Cosme was from Brazil.
That was for the naked neighbors that they didn't get their bits on the paint.
Yeah, watch where yours touch. Be care. The paint is a want. I think it means the paint is wet, but he wrote it the way is a want. Hey, the paint is a want. Watch where yours touch. Where yours? What of?
Yeah. What of ours?
I love it so much.
Brilliant.
Watch where yours touch.
Shall we see what the chat is saying here? What's this? You have paper and pen? Yes, Pavlov. We do have paper and pen, so we can. Each of us has paper and pen.
Yeah, we're not using it very well, but I wanna think about other signs.
Follower of Clay is out because it's mead time. So mead. Enjoy that.
Nice.
Mary says, "Hi boys," says View Through Trees. She thought you were hilarious about masturbation. We talk about masturbation?
We did.
When did we talk about masturbation?
In this show.
In this show. Right.
We've already spoken about it.
Why? This is like the 1, 2, 3 cock show.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
What's going to happen next?
I don't know, because
we started out with the Brokeback Mountain thing and the peanut butter in the chocolate, so it is obviously going to go that way.
And there's no vodka tonight.
Submitted New Zealand motor hotel in our... What?
We stayed in a real... No? Where are you?
Here. We did. I submitted my New Zealand motor hotel story that we slept for one night in our clothes.
They must have slept for one night in their clothes because the place was so disgusting you couldn't do anything else. They could have lived in it.
Oh, man. Yeah. We did this US trip 2 years ago, and we got to a place in Idaho in the middle of the night, and there was this big sign that said new and clean rooms, but they'd been new and clean in 1962.
Yeah.
And that was the last time they were new and clean.
I know, it's like when
Because we opened the door and there was a big brown spot on the carpet.
Oh, God.
Like this.
Yeah, we think the lady doth protest too much. You know, if you have to say they're clean about, you know, if you...
Yeah.
It's like saying, you know, these carrots have no MSG. Well, ich gehe davon aus that it's going to be clean. If you tell me, oh, and don't forget, it's clean. It's like when people say, trust me.
Big sign.
Trust me.
Trust me, yeah.
Trust
I hate
me.
that.
Trust me.
Moko says, we stayed in a really adorable hotel in Kingston, Canada. All wonderful until we did the haunted tour of Kingston and suddenly stood in front of our hotel and heard the stories about it.
And then we were out of there. Like a Scooby-Doo character.
So View Through the Trees is saying that it says, please do not come in the pool.
Please do not come in the pool. It's like
if you are wet, please do not come in the pool.
It's like that gag of, you know, there is a difference between peeing in the pool and peeing into the pool.
Yes, there's a big difference. It's an attitude problem.
You learn that at a party very quickly.
Stay, just really creepy. Mike mentioned Rebecca in Liverpool.
Mention Rebecca.
Now I'm getting an idea of who View Through Trees might be.
Do you have a clue? View Through Trees. We don't know who View Through Trees is, but you've got a clue. Hang on to it, but don't reveal it yet.
I see. I think this is how this is connected to the terrible hotel. We got time for this? Yeah, we've got. Okay, we're gonna. This is like the last story on terrible hotel things. Okay, so you brought me onto these guys who were doing this Beatles project.
Yes,
and I travelled with them to Liverpool to do some research on the Beatles. And we had a lady from there who was well connected and showed us around.
Yeah.
And we were 3 guys sharing a hotel room. And we had 3 beds in this room, and it was kind of full.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as of the second night of the week that we were there, Rebecca started sleeping in our room.
Rebecca was your tour guide.
She was our guide. Yeah. Right. And I can't remember why.
How about remembering where?
She didn't sleep in my bed. She slept in one of the other guys' bed.
Right. But just because it was easier to.
That's what she said.
Yeah. I've heard that one before.
Anyway, so we. I mean, there were other things about Rebecca that. And in fact, this is not the best story about Rebecca. There's a much better story about Rebecca, but we're going to do that in another, because that's a whole topic.
Yeah.
But the best part about that was I was the last person to leave that hotel, and because I had the last flight, and Rebecca checks out like very early in the morning. Before the other 2 guys, then they check out, and our agreement is they'll settle up the bill,
right,
and then leave.
Yeah.
Right? I wake up about an hour later, go down, have breakfast, and I want to leave, and the guy stops me and he says, "This is all open."
Yeah.
Right? So I ended up paying, I think, £140 for breakfasts that Rebecca had eaten there, that the other guys had already paid for. Like, that bitch had breakfast on our account, like for several days in a row without us even knowing it, because she'd get up and leave early and go and have breakfast on our tab.
Hey man, sometimes you just gotta work it, and sometimes you're the one getting worked.
And it was a nice hotel until they turned that thing on us about £140.
No, well,
I tried to get it back, but there's no dice.
Well, that's it for chapter 2 on bad hotel experiences. I think we're all
I think we can do a part 2 of bad
think so
hotel
too.
experiences. I think there's a lot of meat on that bone.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I'm also interested in your continuing mystery of who view through trees are. But right now, we're going to have a word from our sponsor.
Super new, super clean is what that hotel said. Super new, super clean.
Super new, super clean, super bad.
Okay. So, I think our sponsors do have something to say, don't they?
Do they?
No, they don't.
Okay.
See?
Use your button.
Well, let's see if it does this. I don't know. We're having weird issues here. No, it's not doing it. Our sponsors have checked out for the night. Dude, I do know how to push the button.
Just double checking. Will the next one work? Well, since we have no sponsors.
Yes, I think the next one will work.
Good. Then instead of having a word from our sponsor, we just want to thank everyone who has ever sponsored us. And we want to thank Rainbows.
And we want to thank everybody who will sponsor us in future.
Yeah.
Rainbows. There's a link to our PayPal account in the description of this video.
Yeah.
And if you want to help us keep this channel going, please donate.
And thank you, Rainbows.
And thank you, Rainbows. Are you ready to go to chapter 3?
I'm finally ready.
Yeah. Okay, good. Is that your belly?
That was my belly.
I think we need to do a show about sounds that our bodies make that we don't want other people to hear, unintentional body sounds.
Oh, man. So, chapter 3 on hair and its growth.
I think this is something that both sexes suffer from equally.
Yes?
The suffering is equal, the hair and its growth is not equal.
Agreed.
And I think some people of the one half of society would like more of the hair problems and growth that others have, and vice versa.
Is it the grass is always greener on this other side kind of a thing? If you've got too much, you would like to have less. If you've got not enough, you want to have more?
There's an aspect of that there.
Okay. Then let's ask the chat. Are you happy with your level of hair growth? If yes, say sure.
And if you're not happy with your level of hair growth, and be specific, like where would you like to have more or less hair growth?
I have to admit, I personally, I am actually 98% happy with my hair growth.
98%.
Yeah.
That makes the 2% really interesting.
Yeah.
So what parts of your hair growth are you not happy with?
I am the only two parts of my hair growth, the 2% of my hair growth that I'm not happy with is my beard. Because
that's not 2%. You can't call that 2%. Come on, that's 20%. It's 25%.
I am happy with 75% of my hair growth. 25% I am not happy with. It's my beard. And it's not the whole beard. It's just that I got these patches, where it doesn't quite grow, and it doesn't. It takes forever for it, and so I'm not quite happy with my beard. But everywhere else, I'm totally happy with my hair growth.
Beards are really important for men because you want to have enough beard so that it, you look manly.
Right.
But you don't want to have so much beard that you need to shave twice a day, or that you've got that really thick shadow there or something, right?
Have you ever kept a beard for a longer period of time? And I'm not talking about just a mustache, a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't remember you.
I grew a beard for I mean,
I remember you with like summertime taking a while to shave scruffy beard.
No, I grew that whole Che Guevara thing for that one show I was in.
That's true, but that's a long time ago.
I was surprised how much beard I actually managed to grow.
Yeah.
In fact, that's almost 15 years ago.
Right.
But my beard is one of the things that grows more and stronger every year.
Oh yeah.
I think I could get to that. That beard level way quicker than it. I think I let it grow for ages back then to get that going.
I will sit on the sofa doing this in the hope that it'll grow more. It doesn't work.
Yeah, but your body makes other funny noises.
I am the hairless wonder. That's my thing.
Well, that's not really true.
I'm pretty hairless. My sisters have more hair on their arms than I do. I am the hair. I'm like a wet seal. Like all my hair is from here up.
You do realize that seals are covered in fur, right?
I know, but what I mean is there's not a lot happening here. My dad, though, my dad always had a beard. He hasn't had a beard for a long time.
Does he have the same color hair as you do and the same complexion?
No, it's different,
Right.
but I don't want to get into that. My dad had a beard, and in the 70s, he grew this beard, and he had it for a long time while he was a teacher. And then he started to go gray in this one spot in his beard. And so he had this dark beard. My dad had dark hair. He's now his white hair, but he's dark hair and a dark beard and this one gray patch. And years later, I met a dude who was a student of my dad. My dad was a teacher for a while. And this dude that I met had my dad as a teacher, and he was like, oh yeah, Mr. Libby. Oh yeah, he had this gray spot in his beard, and we as kids would always say, that's where Mr. Libby sticks his boogers. That my dad would pick his nose and stick the boogers there, and that's why that one section of his beard, and it was hilarious. But it also made me realize, yeah, everybody has those things. It was just funny, like we all have that shit that we would have theories about teachers and stuff. Yeah. But it was the first time I'd ever heard it from the other end, It was cool.
I started getting a white patch down here, this side, about 10 years ago. So if I grow a full beard now, I actually get a gray bit here.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes it's really cool,
It's kind of lopsided.
Stu's got that really, he's got that really like symmetry thing going with his gray.
Yeah, that's right.
Some guys got it, man.
I think if I could choose where to grow more hair,
yeah,
I'd like to grow more hair on my belly.
On your belly?
But I'd like it to be that really soft, silky cat fur.
Ooh, like Belush.
No, even silkier than that, like cat.
Like those, like the long hairs.
No, it could be a short-haired cat.
Yeah. But super soft.
Like super soft.
Not pubic hairy.
No.
No, not rough and grizzly.
Like a cat's. I want my own belly to be like a cat's belly.
I hear you. That sounds nice.
That would be awesome. You can lie in bed and go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I sometimes would fantasize about what it would be like to have chest hair.
I am really glad I don't.
I don't have any at all. But sometimes, would it be cool to be like Magnum PI?
Yeah. Tom Selleck, yeah.
Tom Selleck.
Yeah, you sport one of those as well.
Yeah.
What are these?
I have a big 70s, 80s stash.
No way.
But then after a while, I'm like, no, I'm glad I don't.
Like I've got buddies who shave their backs because they grow so much fur back there.
Yeah.
I had no hair on my chest for ages, and
click to the chat.
And now it looks. Now, if you look at my chest these days, that joke about the pubic hair that kind of got lost halfway up the shower.
Right.
That's kind of what my chest looks like because I've got like 2 or 3 hairs that have done that.
Yeah. So as the hairless wonder, but I had a buddy of mine who he would call those scouts.
Yeah.
And it's like, like all of a sudden I'll have like one chest hair here. And it's like, where the hell did you come from? You're not sticking around. You're already gone. So when I first came to Vienna, my very first production that I performed in was a show called the Nackte Schubert, the Naked Schubert. And there was this woman named Silvana. And Silvana was sort of a hippie. And she was a lovely young actress, but more of a free spirit. And there was this one scene every night where she was up in a beautiful sort of lit window in this palais that we were performing in. And Andy Halvax would have this scene with her, and I would look up at the two of them, and they had this lovely scene. She was topless, and Andy was singing, maybe? I can't remember exactly. All I remember is after a couple of weeks of this show, Andy comes to me one night and he says, Jim, I need to talk to you about Savannah. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, you know that scene that we have where she's topless? And I'm like, yeah. And he says, I can't stop staring at her tits. And I'm like, well, you know, they're beautiful. Yeah, you know, she's a gorgeous woman. Andy was saying, yeah, I know, but I'm gay. You know, Andy's gay. And I'm like, and I was saying, yeah, but so where's the problem? He goes, well, the thing is she's got this one long hair that's growing out of her, you know, next to her nipple from her areola, and it's really long, and I can't stop staring at it. And I say to Andy, I'm like, is it because you want to, like, you want to pluck it? And he goes, no, I want to go. Because that's how boobs work, right? Yeah, it's a resonator. It's the boob resonator. That's how boobs work, right? God.
Incredible.
Have you ever lived with somebody who would, like a woman who would do like facial hair things, removals? Because that's a big thing for ladies, you know? You know, the facial hair.
I had a girlfriend once who was convinced that she had too much hair growing on her top lip.
Yeah.
And I didn't think so.
No.
But she thought so.
Yeah.
So she kind of bleached it.
Yeah. And how did that go?
I didn't really care. It wasn't my thing. You know,
Would you?
I liked her with or without.
Without it, yeah, I know. That's always the thing.
It didn't even. I frankly, I could tell so little difference that it didn't matter to me.
We're our own worst critics, right?
Yes, this is true.
Would you consider hair removal? Like if you could...
Permanent hair removal.
Permanent hair removal. Like if you could have hair permanently removed where you would not have to deal with it ever again, what would you do?
I don't care.
What would you have done? No, I mean, where would you have it done? Yeah.
Like there's a couple of hairs that grow out of my, like they're not in my moustache. They kind of grow in weird spots here in my cheeks, right? And they're a pain in the ass to shave, and they're also stubborn, and they grow faster than anything else either.
Yeah.
So, you know, you shave, and then there's this one fucking hair going...
Yeah.
And you can still see it and feel
it. And it's like, how are you?
Really annoying.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time I just pluck that fucker.
Just pluck that fucker.
There's two or three of them, but they grow back.
They grow back. I remember saying to you, and you looking at me like I'm an idiot, and I was an idiot, but for some reason it felt so true. I got kind of mad at a hair because I had plucked it, and I'm thinking it's like a weed, it shouldn't grow back, but then it grew back, and I was kind of mad at the hair, and I remember trying to tell you about that, and you're going, well, yeah, of course it's growing back, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but it kind of like, I told you, it's like when you get
out of my yard.
Yeah, it's like when I cut myself with a knife by accident, I'm always pissed off at the knife. Because it's like, no, you're supposed to cut the carrot, not my flesh. You know, that's out of bounds. You're bad. Of course it's me.
Explaining so much. This is explaining so much.
It's because I see the world through a cartoon lens where everything has a personality. It's okay. The show's almost over. I'll talk to you later. No, I got nothing.
Okay, so we have comments here about people have witnessed you trying to grow a beard. It was comical.
I'm sure they have, and I'm sure it was. Did you ever have a facial hair or a head hair like super bad idea? Like for a while, I had, and it was the 90s, but I had the little goatee underneath the lip, partly because it was the only place where hair would really grow. So I had like a hair, you know, like
yeah, I think
like the jazz beard, you know, like
that for a couple of months.
The hep cat thing.
Terrible idea.
It was a terrible idea for me too.
Idea. Yeah.
Did you ever have a mohawk?
I did grow a Hitler beard though, because I was playing Hitler in a show.
That doesn't count.
It does count.
It doesn't.
I actually grew a Hitler beard.
Okay, well, it does count because you have to walk around with that shit.
And I played that show for 6 weeks.
Yeah, and you have to walk around with that.
Walking around town with a Hitler beard. I'd be taking the underground. People would point at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that was funny.
Yeah, that's awful. Okay, that totally counts. But it doesn't, I meant it doesn't count because it wasn't like, this is how I'm going to express myself. I think this is going to work. I think this is really going to put me over the top.
Is this going to get me more chicks?
Yeah, I think if I grow really, really long sideburns and maybe connect it to a beard, Like they have the whole chin strap thing going?
Like Elvis going into Lincoln.
Like Elvis going into Lincoln, this is going to get me the babes.
Yeah.
And then you realize that is not going to get you the babes.
I saw a guy outside one of those barber shops on the way here, and he had a moustache like the Kaiser of Austria. And he was standing there going like this to it, and I thought, that's a guy who's single.
That's a guy who goes into competitions, I bet. Because the Austrians are really big into it. At the mustache championships, the world championships of mustache, I did a voiceover.
But he's a single champion, I'm telling you. That man's definitely single.
I hear you. Yeah. Every girlfriend, I believe, that I've ever had has always kind of said the same thing. I like the way you look with a beard. It takes me forever to get it. But I don't like kissing you with
Yeah, I can totally get that as well.
And so I'm often clean shaven because
absolutely.
I want to be up close and
use my
kissy
beard to
face.
scratch parts of my body that I can't reach with my hand.
I love that. Like when you get an itch and you've got a little bit of stubble.
It's like
it's like a tool.
Like a file.
You're a tool.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything over there besides people making fun of my
bald
attempts?
spots in between the beard? No, I actually have more beard these days than I used to have, Mushada, so less bald spots, but I have quite a lot of white in my beard. Actually, this was interesting. About 15 years ago, I had the first white hair on my balls.
Oh yeah, wow.
That was an interesting day.
That hasn't happened yet. I got all my white hair in the last 4 years.
Oh.
My white hair started about 4 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, when everything went crazy in my life. That's I'm positive that's when my white hair came.
Ah, I see. Because I got this white spot when everything went crazy in my life about 15 years ago.
It happens.
Yeah.
White hair
I have
happens.
a white hair story. You want to hear it?
I do want to hear it.
So I go on holiday.
Yeah.
It was actually this last holiday, right?
Last time in a hotel.
Last time in a hotel.
holiday.
Yeah. And I got a haircut before I went on holiday because I knew I'm going to be away for a while. We were gone for 5 weeks.
Nice.
Right? So we get back. So it's kind of 6 weeks since the last time I had a haircut, and it's unusual that I go for 6 weeks without a haircut. And I'm there at my Macedonian barbershop, and he takes a look at me and he says, what the fuck's going on here? Because we never talk, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, what's going on here, man? What happened? What's with all the white hair? And I'm like, I just haven't been for a haircut for a long time, you know.
And he was like, no,
you can see more of it when
it's shorter. Yeah.
And he's like, no, something's changed. Where you been the past 6 weeks? I'm like, I was on holiday. And he's like, who'd you go on holiday with? I'm like, I went with my wife. He's like, there you are.
So when I'm on tour, I love to get my hair cut, and this is my last haircut story. When I'm on tour, I love to get my hair cut. I love to get a mani-pedi. It's a little bit of alone time. It's a little me time.
You do that.
Yeah.
It wasn't an alone time or a me time. You took me with you on that once.
Well,
it was the only time
me
that
sharing
I went.
some of my alone time and me time.
But then I left it to me time. I decided that was
it wasn't your thing.
It was your time. Yeah.
In any case, I love to do that, and often I'll go to get my hair cut, and we've talked about getting haircuts last time, but I'm in Amsterdam this one time, and often when I go, just a game that I like to play with people, they'll say, how do you like it? And I'll say, look, you do whatever you want to do. You're the artist. The thing is, though, I want a good haircut, so in fact, when I go out on the street after this haircut, I want somebody to want to, give me a blowjob just because of this haircut.
You said this in Amsterdam?
Yeah, because it was, I could say, and sometimes I'll say, I want, your colleague to want to go on a date with me just because my haircut is so nice. Just as a fun game, and it's always a laugh, and people are always fun about it. So I'm in Amsterdam, and one of those hipster places.
I'm going to say, I hope the story goes the way that I'm imagining it.
It is. And so I'm in Amsterdam, and I'm in this kind of hipster barber place, and I say this to the dude, and the dude starts laughing. He's like, "That's hilarious," and he goes, "You know what? I tell you what. Your haircut is going to be so good, I can guarantee you get a blowjob, even if I have to do it myself."
Oh, I did not envisage that.
And it was hilarious. Oh, it killed me so much. Oh, I loved it. Yeah. Good haircuts can work wonders.
Yeah, I thought you were probably in Amsterdam for Koninginnedag. So that's a very good day to get a blowjob in Amsterdam, I think. You just have to wait long enough.
Every day.
It's a good day to get a blowjob in Amsterdam.
Did I ever tell you about the worst blowjob I ever had? It was awesome.
Yeah. I think I've actually had really bad blowjobs.
That's another story. That's a chapter.
And I think it is.
Yeah.
We should call it bad sexual experiences.
Okay. Look, even my pen doesn't work. Michael, we have to say goodnight. It's time to go.
Is it time to go?
It is.
I'm just checking the chat here. I just want to honor what people have written in the chat. Right? Robin Williams, Drew, that seriously one. Stuck in the chest hair when you play with a nipple. You don't want to be stuck in the chest hair when you play with a nipple.
Yeah.
Those are. Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Chest hair can be very sexy, says Moko.
See? Yeah, it can be.
Marcus says, well, let me tell you.
Huh?
To Moko, I think.
Nice.
Moko, Marcus has a lot of chest hair. You should check him out. Pavlov's got. Don't be stuck, Andrew. I have that picture. I did that. You're right. Okay, good. L21T24 says hello. Moko and L21T24 are buddies.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
I bet they are. I'm not
Moko, Moko says L21T24 says hello.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah.
So they know each other.
They do.
And maybe they're visiting.
Yeah.
Thank you all so very, very much. That was it. 3 chapters of It Should Be About Something.
I think we did a pretty good job of covering those. You know, we're getting to the point where there's lots of topics that we discuss and find there's a part 2 in this.
I know. It's because we can't keep our shit short.
No, because shit isn't short.
Yeah, because we're getting into the whole thing. This is one of the things I love about this medium, is because we can have the conversation rather than in a print medium where you have to change it because of this, nature of text-based, consumption. It's nice to have the whole thing. And we're very
violin in there for a bit as well.
very appreciative of everybody who came and watched the show, whether you were on the chat or not, and especially to all the folks on the chat for saying hi and helping us out and being so supportive. Thank you.
Yeah, and coming back again. So really nice to see you again, View Through Trees. Hope to see you again.
Again.
Yeah,
maybe
again,
next
again.
time we'll have figured out who it is.
Again and again.
We'll figure
I'm
out
pretty sure I know who.
Don't tell me now.
Yeah.
I'm keen to guess. We'll be back next Thursday.
But I think we shouldn't guess until we're really sure about it.
I agree. We'll be back next Thursday at 8:30 with more It Should Be About Something.
This is true, yes.
I think this was the best It Should Be About Something ever. This one
Yes,
was,
it was really
absolutely
good. It was really good. Thank you, everybody.
Good night. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. If you can, take care of somebody else. Everybody wave to Verena. Verena, wave to the TV.
Yeah. We're going to get a hug in?
I think we should.